The following presentation is brought to you through the paid memberships of NotaryStars.com, the only notary training platform and resource library with over 150 hours of training on every loan product under the sun. Together with our sister website, OnlineNotariesPublic.com, which focuses on notaries who are pioneering in remote online notary, we strive to give you a safe place to ask questions, get answers, gain confidence in your notary career, and achieve success without overfabricating the truths about our industry. If you would like to support us, please consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a colleague, or becoming a member and trusting us to help you achieve the level of success you desire.
Hey there, friends. You have officially landed at Monday General Mentorship. My name is Beth Hathoot, and we are absolutely thrilled you've decided to join us tonight. Most of the Notary Star crew is here, and we're dedicated to supporting your notary journey and business growth. If you're a member of the training website, we have a very different class every day of the week on amazing topics to help you hone your notary and business skills. Check the chat for details as Kirsten will be posting information for you. Tonight is jam-packed with information for everyone. Starting our session will be our special guest, Miss Laura Biewer. Laura will be reviewing a new certificate for California notaries. The regulation is to help facilitate deed recordings in California that were signed electronically. It's a copy certification of electronic documents by document custodian. Laura's going to help us navigate a growing issue with the new regulation, as notaries are using this to copy certify anything that currently lives electronically. And that may not be correct. We'll see what her advice is on that topic tonight. But stay tuned, because there's more. We will also be discussing document translations with Gabriel Sturgis and Apostilles. So as we get started here, you can raise your virtual hand at any time to ask a question or share an experience. Don't be shy. And don't forget, we have our trusty jot form as well. So if a question pops into your head during the week, just drop it on the jot form and we'll do our best to tackle it during the next MGM session. We'll post the link for you again in the chat tonight. All righty, Mr. Ronnie, I think we're ready to get this party started.
All right, Miss Beth, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a guest in the house. We're very lucky to have Miss Laura come and join us tonight. And when it's not that when we just have a guest, we always have new faces. We are going to go to gallery view. And I just want you guys to just take a moment and turn on your camera if you could spend just 1 hour. But Miss Laura loves to see your faces just like we do. And we want to give her those smiles. You know, when we have a guest come in, especially when Gabriel comes in, we only have 1 hour together, guys. So let's turn on those cameras. Let's light it up for our guest. If you guys don't know how I feel about Miss Laura, I think that if you are not familiar with Laura Biewer, which all of us should be at this point, please go visit Coach Me Laura. She is an asset to the notary community. She's been an asset to Notary Stars, to Notary Academy, to basically every training course out there. She does state-by-state training. She does a lot for our community. She also works on the NNA hotline. She works at the NNA. I mean, there's a lot that she does for our community. So with that said, Miss Beth, I'm going to turn it back to you so you guys can get started going over this certificate, because I'm looking forward to learning more about it as well.
Perfect. Miss Laura, can you unmute? I think you can.
Let's see. Oh, hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, thanks for inviting me on. And I have my good friend, colleague, and partner on this particular topic, Matt Miller, also on the call tonight. And he actually has the affidavit with the jurat certificate that goes with it for California. Hold on. My dogs wanted to have their say. So here's the story. First of all, California is a state where notaries cannot perform RON or remote online notarizations. However, California residents may be serviced by an RON notary, and any other state that it's legal to perform remote online notarization. So the problem that created in California is that not all our counties were equipped to handle. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it's still 11. It was 11 as of January of this year. A couple more may now be in the position to accept documents electronically. So somewhere less than 11 counties, all in northern part of California. They're very small, and their county recorder's office was not equipped to accept it in that way. So to make that accommodation, they created this procedure. Sometimes we call it papering out, where the electronic document is printed and a disinterested custodian, somebody who is not the grantor, grantee, or beneficiary, who will take that printed document to a notary, and they would have a cover with that. The cover with that would have an affidavit that is already mandated language as part of the law, recording laws in California, and the bottom half is a California jurat. So what's important to remember is California notaries did not have a new notary law. Nothing changed for us. We will perform a jurat just as we always have for an affidavit. So that part did not change for us. All that is different is that they're bringing us this affidavit, fancy word, legal term for statement, written statement, that the person is going to swear is true. So whoever that person is, they are required to verify it hasn't been tampered, that the paper document has not been altered, that everything is truthful about it, and that the agency can rely on this paper document just as if it was the electronic version. So that's the high level description of it. Now, when I first started working with it, my understanding of it was that any electronic real estate related document could be utilized for this. So it didn't have to just be a deed, but any kind of real estate related or recorded. And part of that was because of some of the verbiage in there that said, hey, here's who a disinterested custodian is. They're not the grantor, they're not the grantee, they're not the beneficiary. Right, so they're not those three things. Now, Matt, I think just today got some newer information. So if he could join this discussion, wherever you are, Matt, if we could allow Matt to be unmuted.
Thanks. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, so today, and I want to show them what the
document
certificate looks like, along with the prescribed wording by statute.
Right.
So we should have it on screen now.
There we go.
So if you read the certification statement by the custodian, you'll see that there's a clause that they're stating that they're not a grantee, beneficiary, or otherwise a person who directly benefits from the attached instrument or electronic record. So while this bill was proposed by the real estate industry, the California Land Title Association to be specific, for the specific purposes that Laura outlined regarding remote online notarization or IPIN, if you are performing that, to be recorded in counties that do not accept digital records. And there are some counties in Northern California that may never, just because of their size and resources. So this mechanism needed to be created. And today I reached out to the secretary's office, and they said, yes, this could be used for any electronic record. So let me explain what that means. That means the document was created as a digital document, and it remains as a digital document, unless it needs to be papered out, for example, apostille purposes or recording at the county recorder's office. And the reason that that's okay is because the notary's role has not changed. You're simply performing a jurat. The prescribed wording is for the custodian. So outside of the real estate world where this would affect deeds, let's think about it in the real world where you might see this. More and more, we're seeing documents being created digitally by way of online document mills, other attorneys, etc. Powers of attorneys are great examples of this. And some people are getting them executed via remote online notarization or IPEN. And then they need to use it in the real world. Sometimes a receiving party will accept a digitally executed document. Other times they will not, particularly if it's going to be apostilled and sent overseas. So you could use this particular certification to paper out those documents as well. Let me make it bigger so you can actually read the certification statement. And guys, this is what Laura and I created for our class earlier this year, but this is the prescribed wording by statute. And just like your notarial certificates in California must be word for word, the same applies to the certification statement up here. It is outlined and codified in the law. So you would offer this to the signer, the custodian, or they could pre-print it and bring it to you. You do not have to be the one that makes the copy of the document. They should bring that to you, papered out version of the document. They should bring that to you. They would fill out the top blanks, right? The title of the document, a date, if applicable, dated, and the amount of pages. And then, of course, they're going to swear to you that the above statement is true, accurate, and complete to the best of their knowledge, so help them God. So help them God if they take an oath, they swear an oath, as opposed to an affirmation. They didn't date it, print their name, signature, and you perform a jurat as you normally would, and you would record this in your journal as a certification of a printed copy of an electronic record. That name, of that specific name of this certification is also codified into law. So you can't use this for documents that are originally paper. So for example, a copy of a driver's license, a copy of a passport. No, those are not digital documents. Those are paper physical documents. So you would use a standard copy certification by document custodian for those with affidavit statement. So I hope that this helps to clear up any questions about this. I posted the link to the law in the chat if you want to read it. It goes over exactly what this entails, the prescribed language for the certification, and the laws around recording this document as well. So let me know if you have any questions. Laura, did I miss anything?
No, if there's questions, then we'll find out if we missed something.
So if anybody does have questions, please raise your virtual hand, get into queue. They're here for you to answer your questions. There's a couple of comments, Laura, in the chat. It says, sounds similar to a copy certification, but this is specific to California. This was from a Florida notary. This is specific to California for this. Is that correct?
That is correct. This was a new accommodation that was codified this year for the state of California because we are in a situation where we're not able not all of our counties can accommodate the recording of electronic documents. So that's why it was created in the first place.
And you also do not have just a standard copy certification, correct?
We have a standard copy certification for a paper document, but it is restricted to powers of attorney in the state of California. So we cannot use that act, that official act, for any other document other than a power of attorney, any kind, including healthcare directives. If they have some other paper document being presented and they want me to certify it, I would share with them that that's not an act, that's not within the act that I have available to me. And they may want to certify it themselves. They can make a statement. I cannot tell them what the statement has to be. They have to come up with it. And then I can notarize their signature to a statement. However, they will have to choose the notarial act, and I can describe both of them so that they can make a good choice on that. And then ultimately, I cannot guarantee that the receiving agency will accept it. Some do, some don't. So all of those are considerations when we're trying to work around the fact that California doesn't have copy certification for paper documents like about 20 some states that do. So we're not the only ones in that boat.
Perfect. Wow, that was a great explanation. We do have a couple of hands up in the gallery. Let's go ahead and start with Anissa. Anissa, do you want to unmute and ask Laura your question?
Good evening, everyone. Is it that some states can accept, say, a driver's license that you show them on the phone? Like there's some way you can pull it up through motor vehicles and you can see their driver's license on the phone. Do some states accept that, or does California accept that?
So yeah, there are some states that are utilizing that technology. California isn't it actually has a pilot plan that's in place right now, but California notaries haven't been directed that we can accept it at this time.
But if they were able to accept it, then it would fall under the guise of that document you just showed for copy certificate.
It has nothing to do with this document. That has to do with an identification process for any document.
Okay. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thanks.
Great questions.
Yeah.
And then Amy's chomping at the bit.
I know.
Go
If there's anybody who might know as much or more than we do about this, then she would be.
Oh, good evening, Laura. It's been a while, a hot minute.
A hot
And
minute.
Matt as well. I'll see you next week.
Both of us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pineapple cake. Anyway, the papering out of an electronic document is not uncommon with remote online notarization. It has a different name in the other states, though. It's called an authentication certification or certificate. It's very similar to a copy certification, but it validates that the electronic record that was printed is the document that was notarized online. Ohio has it, Texas has it, Florida has it. There are other states that have this process. It just has a different name. And I wanted to bring that out to light that you're not that dissimilar.
Well, no. We're just, this is our little toe in the water. But would you put that in the chat so everybody could see what you just called that document that does what we just discussed, so that everybody can see that, and then they should find out within their own state, if you're an RON, which are most of you, if that's something that's available. And then I have a question based on that to piggyback to Matt. So Matt, we know what our RON laws are currently. Is there a document like that within our RON proposed laws that take effect in 2030 in addition to this one?
No, the Secretary's office did not want to expand the role of the California notary, so no. But I think it's important to point out a difference here is I believe the act that Amy is talking about, the notary is certifying the authenticity of the copy, whereas our act, the signer is certifying the authenticity. Is that right, Amy?
Yeah, Amy, could you verify, please? Or unmute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't have rights to unmute. Anyway, it depends on the state.
Got it.
In Ohio, it's the signer who's doing the verification. In Texas, it's the signer. But in Florida, it's the notary. So it's whomever actually prints the document is doing the verification that it is an exact copy. So it really varies.
Really important, guys, to know what the exact rule is about how to utilize that act, whether you're required to make the copy or the signer is required to make the copy. Because even when we do the power of attorney paper ones, the law is silent and it doesn't say who has to make the copy. We just suggest it be the notary. And in other states, those paper copy certifications might say the notary has to do it. So always check that level of detail for your law. Just because you have copy certification, you need to read what the facts of the certificate say so that you know whether you're responsible for that or whether the signer is.
Perfect. We have another hand up in the gallery, and this is somebody from your home state, California, Miss Melissa. Oops, there you
Okay,
go.
am I unmuted? Oh,
There you go.
You were.
Try again.
unmute. There?
Yep,
There
you
we
got
go.
it.
Okay. Is there any certain document where we cannot use credible witnesses for or act?
Okay, so what I'll tell you, I'm going to say two things before we have other hands. One is, I really wanted to focus in on why I was called to be here tonight, which is a specific act. And that's what I want to focus on. Now, regarding any document, if it is an approved method of identification in your state, then there's no document restriction. But with that said, there may be lenders who don't want it. And they can say, no, they've got to have a valid ID. And if that's the case, then that's when you would not be able to do it.
Okay, then on that certificate, I came in a little bit late. And it's I know they're verifying that they got the copy, but who they can email us the copy and we can print it out, or how do we get that?
So that document really wasn't meant for notaries. They're supposed to bring it to us. But Matt shared it, and actually, Melissa, I think you took our class. We shared it. Matt, do you have the PDF you could pop into the chat for them?
I'll
So
try.
Okay, he'll try to do that so that you could download it and print and have one for you. But the expectation isn't you deciding what do I need to do here. It's the signer or the customer, Mr. Customer, comes with this printed document and this, let's say, cover sheet affidavit to you, and you know automatically what you need to do, which is perform a jurat. That's how it should work.
Okay, thank you.
So, Laura, that was a really good example of what we're seeing happen a lot. People are trying to take, in California, notaries are trying to take documents, upload them, paper documents signed wet ink, upload them or email them. Now they're calling them an electronic document that they can use this procedure on. That's not quite right, is it?
No, I don't believe that that's the intention of this law. And I would certainly never direct somebody or suggest to somebody that that's okay. It should have started electronically and it's still electronic rather than taking paper, making it electronic and then trying to use that. That's really skating around the law.
So it has to be born electronic to be able to use the procedure on. Perfect. One more hand up. Chris, another Californian. You want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question?
Oops. What would the notary fee be on that on this electronic?
So what is our notary fee for jurats in the state of California?
$15.
That's right. So it would be $15 for performing the jurat for that affidavit.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Right. So nothing changed as notaries. And I think that's the important point, is that we don't have a new act. We don't have a new price. We don't have any new language. It's all the same for us. All they did was make it easy for us by inserting our California compliant jurat with the affidavit. That's really all that happened.
Awesome. I think that about answered everybody's questions. You guys are so good. You did that in 25 minutes.
There you go.
Woo!
That was about it. Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you popping in and at least clarifying for us what your version or your understanding of that new regulation is, because it is kind of getting, we have a tendency to try and use things to our own best advantage, and sometimes it's not within the letter of the law. So we appreciate your opinion, both yours and Matt's, on that.
And Beth, Matt was not able to upload his version that he showed on screen. Do you have a version PDF that you can post for people?
I can look. I do have a copy of it somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and we'll get it to you. If not, guys, you can contact Matt. Matt, if you want to put your contact information in the chat, as well as Laura. Laura, you know, as like Ronnie had said in his intro, Laura is a NNA hotline employee. She is an instructor for the state of California on California notary law. She teaches state by state notary law classes, or she used to. She has a Saturday morning, I don't know, sing along that she does. She invites everybody to on Saturday mornings just to come visit with her, and smaller type of venue that's more intimate, sometimes better, to get all of your questions answered. To do that, she can put that in the chat as well. Maybe they can get those copies to you. Otherwise, you can send an email to me, Beth@notarystars.com, and I can send you a copy of that certificate as well.
And Matt did post the law, and you'll find it there because it's in the law.
Speaking of which, does everybody know how to download the chat at the end of the session? Kirsten, if you could post those instructions for everybody before we close out, don't forget to download and save the chat. All of that information will be there. Okay.
I just want to thank you guys for stopping by as well. And then also, I just want to make sure you guys, Laura comes here a lot from Coach Me Laura to help us at Notary Stars. And she has for the last 6 years that we've been online. You know, there's 207 people online today watching this, and then we'll have tons of replays. She's a huge asset to our community nationwide. And please make sure to go by her website and check out what she has available. We do different things. She teaches different things that you may be wanting to put in under your umbrella or to learn about. And then also for the California notaries, and I'm going to say it two ways. Matt Miller, he's got calnotaries.org up there with, you want to make sure to go by his website if you're in California. It's something that I wish we had a better version of in Arizona, but Matt's also really good with notary law throughout the country and getting laws changed. And he's someone that you can turn to as an advocate for notary law. So guys, we bring people in that are respected trainers. This is not, I see a lot of the Brittany and Christina stuff going out in the notary industry world. And Laura and Matt and myself and Beth, we don't really feel like that. We all work together in a way, and that's what Notary Stars is always supposed to have been about. So make sure you connect with the two people on your screen today in some way, whether you're just bookmarking their site, go follow them on Instagram, go to their website if you're a California notary, or a nationwide notary. You never know how these two people will be able to help you, like they've helped us grow this community for you. So make sure you interact with these people. I want to thank y'all for stopping by. We have some questions to get to before we get to our next guest. So thank y'all so much for stopping by today. And I really appreciate you guys and love you both very much. I feel like I've known you long enough. I can say I love you now. So I love you both.
Love you back.
Thank you. Thank you. Question on the jot form, Ronnie, or should we start? We still have another couple of hands up in the gallery if you want to start there.
Let's go ahead and grab those last two hands, and then let's go into any questions we can get off the jot form today. There we go. Did you catch that, Miss Beth?
I did. You were lagging.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, we kind of crossed over each other. Brenda, you're unmuted now?
I am, if you can hear me.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Go ahead.
I kind of have a question. It spurs what was previously just discussed. I'm apprehensive to recommend any document for somebody I'm notarizing for. So how do you get around this? Like somebody needs copy certification or something like that, and they provide the documents. How do I tell them without telling them what document they need? How do you do that?
Without telling them what
Like I get somebody
materials?
who needs a copy certification of their driver's license. This is, they were told to get a notarized copy of their driver's license. I
Okay.
can't tell them what document to get, can I? I mean,
Miss Beth,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you mind if I attempt this one first and then you correct me if I'm wrong?
Sure.
So, and there's, so much more than me, so it makes me feel good that I know this one, or I think I do. So, Miss Brenda, I think you're getting confused with telling someone which document they might need like a power of attorney and all those things, and then what type of notarial act you might need to do. So you can always turn them around on them. Do you mean you need a copy certification? And just like a document that someone would bring you, if they brought you a power of attorney and it didn't have an acknowledgement or a jurat attached to it, you would ask them, do you want an acknowledgement or a jurat attached to this document? If they bring you a document and say, I need this copied and notarized, you're going to ask them, is this the notarial act that you're looking for? They have to be able to tell you. You can't guide them and say, I'm going to do this. But generally, you're going to say, these are the notarial acts that I can perform. Is this what you're looking for? And because it's copy certification, they're going to say yes. Miss Beth, did I get that one clear?
Well, and she's already said I need a copy of my driver's license notarized. So being able to say you need a copy certification, I can do that in my state, or you need a copy certification. I can't do that on a driver's license, but here's what I can do.
All right, I want to take that one step further. How do I do it as a remote online notary?
Amy.
You're up.
All right. So, I can unmute now. Thanks for the power, people. But Brenda, I think we touched on this before. So in Florida, if they were coming to you in person, you could physically make a copy of their driver's license. You could do a true copy certification with an ink pen where they're not even signing any documents. Okay, that's one way. But that's not how you would do it online. How you would do it online is copy certification by document custodian. So they're going to make a statement or an affirmation. I declare this is an exact copy of the original document. And then you're going to say, are we acknowledging, or are we doing a sworn statement of that statement today? And you'll perform the notarial act based upon what they've determined to be. So you're basically, consider it kind of like a loose affidavit.
Okay, so how do I tell them they need that statement?
Well, just tell them the only way that I can do this online is if you're signing a document. So we need to do copy certification by document custodian. At this point, you're not telling them you're doing a specific notarial act. You're saying, I need to add this specific form to this to make it compliant for me. But when we do this, are we doing it with an acknowledgement certificate, or are we doing it with a jurat? Which way am I doing? Am I seeing your signature and saying you did it from your own free will, or am I putting you under oath and you're swearing that what you stated is an exact copy is true?
Amy,
So they're still picking.
I think this is a calling for you to do an entire class on this, because
I
I'm
already
listening to it
did.
and it. Oh, what you did?
I did. It's in the replays.
So, Miss Brenda, you have access to the replays. I'm going to have to go watch this too, and I just want you to know it's a really great question, because it can be a little confusing when you move into that Ron realm. Amy, if you want to message her in the replays where it's at, you can message Miss Brenda where it's at. But I can, now that I'm starting to hear this, I can understand the confusion.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the information.
Thank you, Brenda. Thanks for bringing us your questions and confusing all of us.
No, she didn't confuse us. That's actually a confusing question in itself.
All right, nomenclature. Celicia. Woo, Celicia's here. Hello, Miss Celicia.
Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. I can't believe it. I get to say these words to several of you. See you on Saturday, which is so great. And I just wanted to open a little small can of Florida worms here for just a second, because it just keeps coming up for us. I know we got a lot of experts on here. Can I use a translator / moderator to help me with a language? Because I don't speak Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese, Tagalog, Swahili. So can I have someone else tell me what this person is saying, and can I just let them tell me what I'm supposed to understand on a Ron or in person?
So over Ron, you're saying?
On a Ron or in person?
I don't think you can in Florida. I'm trying to look it up for you here, but I think that's a big no on both ends. Amy?
How would I know? I mean, I'm there to identify the signer and know that they have a basic comprehension of what they're signing. So I'll say to the person who I'm doing a power of attorney for, Jerry, can you give me a couple of sentences and tell me what this document is that we're signing today? Yes, that document says that I can let my cousin Mary take care of all of my affairs while I'm still here in the hospital, banking and insurance and such as that. So Jerry's got an understanding of the documents. I have an understanding that Jerry understands. The witnesses are now going to see that Jerry's going to sign it willingly. But if Jerry speaks Swahili, how do I know? And I don't.
Well, you've got a regulation that says a notary public may not take the acknowledgement of a person who does not speak or understand the English language unless the nature and effect of the instrument to be notarized is translated into a language which the person does understand. So if the document's in Swahili, you have to have the certificate in English. But if they don't speak any English at all, actually that foreign language signer doesn't speak to your problem. You have to communicate with your signer, and they don't
Right.
allow an interpreter in Florida.
So that one just, it's one of those
Bottom
things that just keeps coming up in so many, at Facebook University. And I just want to put it out there. The answer is no, no. And if you still have one more question, what's the answer, Amy?
Go to Montana or Ohio.
Go to Montana. There you go. That's the answer. Go
There
to
is a
Montana.
way.
They allow it in Montana.
There is a way to get this
Colorado,
done.
Arizona.
There is a way to get this done with the Colorado online notary. They are authorized to use translators during notarization, both in person and online.
Go to
So
Colorado.
if you're anywhere in the country and you have a language barrier with a signer, suggest hooking up with a Colorado online notary who is using translators.
Right.
I'm gonna put a hard pivot on that, Matt. I agree. They definitely can do that, but they can't do biometric verification of an international signer. So they're going to run into issues with the ID verification of the signer. The Montana or
Perhaps.
Wyoming would be a better solution, or even Virginia would be a better solution than Colorado if they're having issues with verification.
But can
If
they use a translator in Virginia, Amy?
they can.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Speaking of translations,
Here we go.
I think this is the perfect segue for this. We have a special guest in the house tonight. And guys, I want to kind of um, say it like this. We found this gold mine earlier, maybe about a year ago. I think has it been a year? It's been pretty close to at least 9 months. The baby has been born and it's growing just fine. We found this gold mine with a company called Idiomatic that we partnered with, and Kirsten will post some information into the chat. We brought in Gabriel. He stops in once a month to talk about uh, uh, document translations, and they also offer interpreters as well. So with that said, Gabriel, I made you a co-host. If you want to come up and tell us what we need to be talking about or thinking about this month as uh, for document translations. And I just saw him in there. Wait,
He's here.
okay. Gabriel, do you want to say something so we can see you?
Yeah, there we go.
There we
Hey,
go.
good afternoon. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. So what do we have going on for the affiliates this week? And we're going to kind of start doing this when you pop in. We're going to start talking about Apostille because of you, I'm learning way more about Apostille, and my Apostille business is growing way faster. So tell me, tell us what we should be thinking about for document translations this week.
Well, I'm the same as you. I'm learning so much about apostilles now, just because we have requests for it and requests for translations. What I'd like to focus on is the practical side of things, but also the marketing side of things. We've found that a strong selling point for translations, and especially for anyone who processes apostilles as well, is the concept of bundling. Now, I mentioned this, and for any of you, a lot of you are affiliates already, and I have sent out an email about this, but I want to reiterate it. This is, I think, an important point. Is the upsell. if you already process apostilles, if you already provide notarizations, well, if you offer translations, you can then bundle a service. So you can you can be an all-in-one provider and a one-stop shop for your customers. So what does that mean? If someone finds you on the internet, well, firstly, you promote translations. If you have a dedicated landing page on your website, if you mention in your Google My Business, on your LinkedIn, uh, in conjunction with doing apostilles. So what happens? When someone gets in touch, a lot of times before, if you didn't offer translations, you could say, well, okay, we can get this apostille for you, not a problem. You have a birth certificate that you need for use in Panama. Great. Well, we'll do the translation or we'll do the apostille for you. Then you may have to get it translated, or maybe you need to translate it first, then the apostille. Go out, get one done, bring it back to me, and we'll handle the apostille, or I'll do the apostille, then go out and get it translated. So that just makes one extra step for the client. They found you already, they found one service provider who they trust. Now they have to find someone else. So that just adds to the complication, and it's one more touch point for them. If you can take away any of the stress, find and offer them the service all in one spot, and through us as a reliable provider, which I think many people who've worked with us could say, you offer, number one, a value added for them. That way you don't have to go out and find somebody else. You can show them if they trust you for one service, they can trust you for another. And you can also upsell. So we have our cost, which we provide to the affiliate community, from which you would get commission, 20% commission on any translation sold. You can also charge, if we charge X per page, you could charge X plus 10. So that way, beyond the commission that you already earned, you can earn an extra, and that could be your handling fee or whatever you want to call it. So from that, you can start to generate additional revenue, help the client, and diversify yourself from your competitors as well, just by having everything all in one spot.
And Gabriel, you talked about adding document translations into Apostille, but I have to tell you, I actually started in reverse. I started document translations and then added in Apostille because here's what I found. And so, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Like you're looking at it because your specialty is document translations, which I'm so grateful to have found and made this beautiful working relationship with Idiomatic. But I found adding in document translations because I was much more interested in document translations than I was Apostille because Apostille seemed complicated. Well, they did until you open the gateway. So I'm calling you now the gateway drug of expanding my services. You're kind of like a gateway into doing that. So I actually started with document translations, bringing in the customers, and then what I noticed is that 50%, if not a little bit more, when they get the document translated, they then need an apostille. Okay, so for anybody that's already in apostilles, it could be an upsell. But if you haven't started with either one, adding in document translations just kind of get your feet wet, learn how to advertise those, which our new templates at the Notary Star Plus marketing level allows you to kind of advertise nationwide anything you want to do. And by the way, guys, document translations, you can do them all 50 states, every zip code in America. There are no restrictions. You're not bound by the state or the county that you were issued a commission in. You can sell those. And these new website templates are built to sell nationwide. So we started selling them, but what I realized is a lot of the customers wanted to apostille after. So we added in a little tick box that said, are you also looking for an apostille? And 50% of those have turned in. Gabriel talked about marking it up plus 10. I mark it up plus 20 because I'm greedy. And I already, if I don't get the business and it goes to someone else, you can be competitive and mark it up plus 10. One thing I want to talk about is you mentioned you think that the quality over Idiomatic is great. Guys, and Gabriel, I want to know how you do it. People ask me how I do it, but I don't think I've ever reached out to you and you not answered within a reasonable amount of time. So like, do you sleep?
Yeah, we have a team of people behind us, so it's not just me. If you do need something, um, it's myself. My baby is the affiliate program.
Mhm.
So this is something that we've worked very hard for to try to help all the notaries, help all the Apostille agents. So I try to make sure I answer everything as much as I can myself. Otherwise, we have four other project managers. Many of you've spoken with them, who can help you. Um, so that's something else to mention with us. It's not just one person. You have a team of people as well behind you. If you need something a bit more unusual, working with Ronnie right now on a quite rather unusual project, we can do it. It may take a bit more time, but we can do it. And that's something that we're not just one person. We have a large network, and we can help you with most anything.
And then Gabriel, there's another thing that I want to say. Somebody had put it on our job form, so I'm going to go ahead and get this off there. Somebody had actually asked us in the chat, in the job form. It said, if you have a chance this week, who would you suggest to choose for translation services? Who's best, and do we have any suggestions who to go with? We definitely suggest Idiomatic. Guys, there are other companies out there, and I won't name any of them. There are other companies out there, and Gabriel, you probably know this because you're in there. I don't think I see you guys doing any sponsored ads whatsoever.
No.
And this is the business talk that the notaries like to hear. And you mentioned this to me before, so I want to put it into terms that I know our community likes to hear. You don't do any sponsored ads, and you've got a multi-million-dollar company, and you actually told me at the rate I'm growing, I could probably add in another $1 million, with my advertising because I'm growing that fast. Like today, I had three in the pipeline. Literally, when Gabriel walked into the door, I had three from Friday afternoon and one coming in. Now that's only four, but 2 weeks ago there was like one a week or three here and there. And now I'm seeing that growth because I've got my website up running. I'm moving things out. So Gabriel's team is actually helping me grow my business. And we actually taught at Notary Stars how to implement how exactly what I did into your own website, whether you're using our website template or not. But then the fact of turning it into Apostille is actually beautiful. So, for instance, I had a woman who reached out from Maryland this week. She's not even in Phoenix, Arizona. She's in Maryland. And I had we had to do a little talking about which documents she needed to do. It took about, 3 or 4 phone conversations. She sent me the documents. She reached out initially just wanting to get them translated. And then I said, well, we can do the apostille as well. So we have 4 documents that came in for document translation. Gabriel's team, I put them in on Saturday morning for her. They were done today. Gabriel's now doing the notarization with our team, which we're making money off of the translation because I marked them up by $20 a document. Then we get the 20% still because we get the markup plus the 20% commission off of Gabriel's fees. And then I get $25 off the remote online notarization, which I want to point out to guys, we don't call it remote online notarization. We call it the certification. So we charge $50 for the certification, which means we're facilitating. Unlimited Ink is facilitating. Now, if you're the raw notary, you can't charge that, right? But if you set it up for another raw notary, you make the $25 and you can pay a friend the $25. So charge for the certification on it. Okay. And then we turn around and we are able to facilitate the apostille. Now, because we're using an in-house notary in Arizona, we're able to do it through the Arizona Secretary of State's office. But Gabriel, you work with notaries all over and you can help them, get it notarized in their state, and you can get your own runners, which I want to point out in the Notary Star Plus marketing level, we have been building a notary network with those students where you can put in if you're a runner, what states you're doing well. And Gabriel, I'd love to get you a copy of that. If you want to email me, I would love to get you a copy of that because those are members of the Notary Star community who are Notary Star or Notary Star Plus marketing. So they're like the highest level. And those notaries are ready to go. Like they can apostille in most states. They can do your remote online notary. They've got the marketing down, and they're probably selling your product as well. So you probably want to, work with those. But guys, I have to tell you, you know, if I had known about this 10 years ago, things might be different. This might be a different call tonight. I might be just doing document translations. And in fact, Travis and I, we keep talking about this behind the scenes. I love Unlimited Ink. I love Notary Stars, but this is so much easier. Like the document translations, Gabriel's team handles everything. This guy right here, he's handling everything. You know, they've got it. You don't do anything. You just say, yes, we can do the language, or no, we can't do the language. And that's it. So Gabriel, I want to share a couple of points about your company, and you tell me, because I've learned some things about selling document translations, and I want to kind of share with people some of the things that I put on my website and the language that I've learned from you. And so people ask me, why should I pay more for you? Because they see Rush Translate, 1995, all of these things. And so this is the language that I've accumulated about Idiomatic that I want you guys to take note, whether you're doing it or not, translations or not, or if you're wondering, why should I partner with Idiomatic? Here's why. So number one, and this is how I say it to a customer. Number one, we only contract with professional certified translators who are native speakers of the language. Okay? That's a huge selling point. That means that they didn't go to school to learn the language. They are native speakers of the language. Okay? That's going to mean a lot to the people who actually are getting the documents translated. The next thing that I've been able to say to people is we have an extremely high acceptance rate with the United States and foreign governments. And then I tell them on the side, it's actually 100%, but we don't want to, really push that because there could be a 0.001% out there. But so far, 100% with USCIS. All of our translations come with a certificate of translation issued on the translations department letterhead. Gabriel will brand these letterheads for your company if you reach out to him. So I have two companies doing translations right now, Unlimited Ink, and I built the website certifieddocumenttranslation.com, which is going really well. When he's been able to, when they put the order in, we actually have it passed to his team, and it's got all the instructions on it. So they just send it back with our company letterhead on the certification. So that's an amazing selling point right there, guys. The next thing that I have is the certificate states that our translation department is, and I'm going to make sure I get this right, is an ISO 9001:2018 accredited translation company. That stands for the International Standards Organization, which moderates work processes for numerous industries through yearly independent audits. So that means that our translation department or your company, when you partner, is actually fully accredited. Okay, so you're not going out interviewing these translators and you're not building a company getting this accreditation. Gabriel's already got it. Okay, so you're partnering with a company that already has the credentials that you need in order to provide. Is that right, Gabriel?
Exactly. And I do want to mention about that with the ISO. One thing mentioned, well, native speaking translators. That's a requirement in the translation industry to have the certification. You have to have people who translate into their native languages. No one has two native languages. You always have an A language and a B language. Even if you think that you're completely bilingual, nobody is completely bilingual. Nobody. So you always have a stronger language. That's the language that people translate into. And there's also, depending what kind of work you're doing and what clients you get, you can market this to pharmaceutical, you can market this to manufacturing, because most ISO certified companies, a part of their certification is that they work with other ISO certified companies. It's just it helps them maintain the quality. So you can promote that, again, depending what industries you're working with. And that's a selling point as well.
Gabriel, there's two more points that I want to make, and we're getting really close to the end here. And I want to share one little Apostille thing for everybody. The other thing that I want to talk about when you partner with Idiomatic is that, first of all, it's the certification process. They're taking an oath under penalty of perjury that this is a true and correct translation. So I see a lot of people call me daily because I started advertising this, going, "Well, I translated it, but can you just certify it?" And I'm like, "No, that's not the process." And I want to warn people that when people contact you and they say, "Can you certify it?" Once you start your business, don't think if anybody just brings you a document, can I certify it? The answer is no. You need to know who you're working with, because now you're putting your notary stamp on just anybody. Are all the things we just talked about, are they a native speaker? Are they ISO certified? All the things that we just ran down the list. Make sure that you're not just putting your notary stamp on just any certification out there, okay? Because you don't want to get tangled up in a lawsuit. Because the next thing that I want to point out is you can actually say your translation department is insured. Okay. And that's something that we say as notaries. We're bonded and insured. You can actually advertise that our translation department is insured. Okay. So that's another important thing that people like to hear. This is insured. We're going to make sure that this is done right. You wouldn't have all of these credentials and then not have insurance on top of them. So you can actually say, and the way I look at it is I call it our translations department. We're getting so busy that I just created an email for our company for Gabriel in case I need to pull him into a conversation. And I'm very excited about that because it's actually built up a lot of business for Unlimited Ink that we didn't have before. And we do really well with a lot of different sectors and loan signing and photo assignments. This has just been an amazing journey with you. And I know you're going to stop by every week, but I want to start trying to give some tips to notaries on Apostille as well. So if you don't mind, before we close out, I just want to kind of tell you some things that I've learned in front of everybody, so that they'll be thinking about these things and can maybe add them into their business. I have found there is an epidemic, and you guys heard me talk about this when I first started training on in the notary sector for loan signings. There's an epidemic in schools when it comes to incorrect apostilles for their transcripts. And it's not just with the notary, but it's also with the school. It's a huge market for you guys in the apostille arena to contact your local schools, make your flyers, and here's what your conversation is. They have to, for international students, post those grades right at the end of the year, just like they do all the other students. However, international students have to leave. They're on a visa. So they're not hanging out for 3-4 weeks with the host family after graduation, which means those grades are posted, they walk, and usually by the time they can get the transcript for the student is already on a plane back to their host country. And so that means that they have to now hire another company to come in if they don't get it done in time or if it's not done correctly. So we pretty much have the best certificate at Notary Stars now for those schools that you would need in order for it to not fail in most countries. And I would love for you guys to join us on this conversation, especially in the marketing class. When you go for the apostille, you want to be able to explain to the school, we know you're at a rush at the end of the year. We want to make sure that your international students don't suffer, because they're going to leave. They're going to graduate high school, and then they're going back to try to apply for college. And then it's usually, if it's not done correctly, we've seen this so many times coming up here at the end of the year where they got back and it was rejected by the college or the next step. And so you guys want to make sure that you become an expert on those. And I have to tell you, you can do every school in your area, and they will be a really great client for you when it comes to apostilles. If you get in touch with the registrar or the principal, whoever's signing those transcripts. And here's the problem that we see. There's a certificate that goes with it, basically, that says, I printed this transcript and I'm the one who signed it. The problem going back to the other country is generally when they sign it, the notary, what they do is the principal will sign it or the registrar will sign it, and then they hand it to the front desk. And the notary's going in and picking it up and having the second person sign the notarial certificate, not checking the actual signature on the transcript. So if the principal signs it, the principal has to appear before you and take the oath that this is the transcript. And that's where we're seeing so many rejections. And guys, there are companies advertising to these foreign families that are charging $1,000 once they get back. You need to catch those schools and say, I know everything's going to be a rush at the end of the year. Why don't you put me in touch with your international students and their parents? Let me give you a newsletter. What language? And it'll be worth it. It'll be worth its weight in gold if you contact that school and say, where are your international students from? I'm going to send you an email and have Gabriel's company translate it for you for $30 so that you can send that over to your students. You don't have to get the certified part. You can just have his company with real native speakers translate that for you, send that out to the schools and say, you said you have 2 from India, 1 from Brazil, speaks Portuguese, get those languages, and then send it out to the families of those schools. We learned that this week. We have a school in Miss LaDonna is in, I think it's Maryland. It's one of the ones with an M. Sorry, we've been so busy. She wound up going to the school, and they said, we've been doing this wrong all along. And so now they're going to start using us over and over again. And every school that we've been able to correct, we now have repeat business out of. So start building with schools on the apostilles. Transcripts don't always need to be translated, but it's also an upsell with the families. You can also say we can get them translated, but generally they just need to be apostilled. So far is what I've found. Gabriel might correct me on that. But so far, but we're going to start bringing in you guys more information on document translation and apostille. Gabriel stops in every month, but I want to start connecting the dots between the two functions every week. So Gabriel, I want to appreciate you for coming by, and I want to start eventually. I mean, we might have to even do a call just on these two topics. I mean, the money just keeps going up and up and up. I mean, it's unreal to me how much money I've left on the table for the last 15 years. 15 years, guys, I've left it all on the table. Someone else made it. And all of you can make it too. So I want to ask this right quick before we go. If you guys don't mind, if you could put one in the chat, if you're doing document translations right now, if you can put a 1 in the chat so we can see how many people are actually doing them. Oh wow, I see a lot of ones going on. All right, and if you are interested in doing document translations, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, I see a lot of 2s going on in there. So Kirsten, right now, if you could post into the chat how they can get in touch with Gabriel. Oh, she put it in there. You might want to put it when it slows down. There's a lot of 2s going in there. If you want to drop it again, Kirsten, there you go. You guys can sign up with Idiomatic, and we're also teaching how to, add that in. But they're a wonderful company. You guys know we vet everybody that we bring into Notary Stars. Now I'm going to ask a different question. So everybody stop putting it in there because we got to get this night wrapped up. We're 5 minutes over, and I want to wrap this up. Number 1, if you are currently doing apostilles, drop a 1 in the chat. Lots of 1s going in there. All right. And if you are interested in doing apostilles, but you haven't started yet, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, there are so many people right now that are looking for this. I mean, this is just insane. So many people looking for this. Your first step is to click on what Kirsten's been posting in there, is to contact Gabriel. Get started. I will tell you that apostille becomes much easier if you become the translation component first. For me, it was like a gateway into apostille because you're going to start to see. And guys, you have a community here, a wonderful community of notaries who are already doing apostille, so you can get the translation part and then turn it over to them to help with the apostille until you're ready to do it. And vice versa, if you're doing apostille and you don't have a translator yet, you can partner with someone who's doing it already in the community until you're ready to walk on your own feet. And when it comes to marketing all of this, come see me, because I built the ultimate notary website that puts you in every zip code in America so that you can advertise remote online notary, you can advertise document translations, and you can advertise apostille in any state that you want. And honestly, guys, we're still doing our 30-day challenge right now to get those websites built. We started in January. All of the round of students pretty much got their websites up and launched, and now I'm doing a 30-day challenge to get them perfected. But we have students that are literally tripled their income because of these websites. And these products and services are ways that you can do that. So if you can triple with just remote online notary, imagine what you can do if you're doing remote online apostille and document translations in every state. And then the last thing I want to say, I know I talk too much. You guys know I have a beef with those companies that go out there and charge so much and then pay the notary $5. Well, now I have a beef with document translation companies out there that charge $15 for a crappy little notarization and then put their clients through turmoil when it doesn't work out. It's better to charge a little bit more and get the job done right than to charge $14.95 and get it done in an hour and it not be done right. And I've heard horror stories already, and I've been one of them when I was going through my marriage, but I didn't understand at the time how bad that was. There are those companies that you'll see advertising translations for like $14.95. We'll get it done in one day. Check the horror stories on there. There's a reason why they're running sponsored ads. It only takes a little bit of time to build up repeat customers. So I'm very happy with Gabriel as a translation partner. And the thing is, guys, is he's not just my partner. He's y'all's partner as well. He's treating everybody I talk to says that when they call Gabriel, they're getting the same level of service that I do. He's not just treating me that way because I'm the guy at Notary Stars and Unlimited Ink. Everybody that's working with Idiomatic on his affiliate program is getting the same level of service that I'm getting and bragging about. So that's a testament, because they'll tell me, Gabriel, they'll be like, I reached out and didn't hear. So there's a reason why, 9 months later, you're still being invited to come back every month. You've done really well. You've been doing really well with our community, and we're very, very happy to have Idiomatic. Last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. We actually wrote a blog on every single language that you offer on the Notary Stars website so that we can promote your company as well as, our partnership. But we actually will be finishing that on Friday. It took almost over a month and a half to get 130 blogs wrote on every single language that you wrote. But that's how excited we are about Idiomatic. So, and they're starting to show in the search rankings too. It's kind of amazing. All right, Gabriel, any last tips for us before we wrap up for the night?
No, I think just for time, that's all I have for today. But as always, thank you everybody. I'm meeting more and more of you, and I'm talking to more and more of you, as is the team. And it's just such a nice community. Everybody's absolutely lovely, and it makes it easy to do business.
Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. All right, guys, I'm going to turn this on gallery view because we have got to get out of here for tonight. I just want to ask everybody to turn on their cameras for just a moment. Let's treat this like church. When you walk around at the end of the session and you give everybody a hug. The way we do that is we do our signature wave. So turn on those cameras and let's start waving here, guys. I'm going to say it. I'm the one to take us home tonight, so I'm going to say it the way I've said it for many, many years. If you are not naked and you're not stuffing your face with a sandwich right now, please turn on those cameras and let's give our signature wave. Wave to your fellow notaries on screen right now. Wave to those people coming to watch the replays. Wave to the future notaries of America. And just remember, guys, when you get to where you're going, reach back and take somebody else along with you. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We love you all. Have a wonderful evening.